Hello everyone, welcome to LexTech 3.0. My name is Amok Tiwari and I am serving as a moderator for this episode. Today, we are discussing on the topic of cryptoforensics and emergence of hope in using the crypto investigation for law enforcement agencies. We have with us Professor Dr. Sandeep Shukla, who is a professor of computer science and engineering in IIT Kanpur. Dr. Shukla the joint coordinator of the National Blockchain Project funded by Office of the National Cybersecurity Coordinators. He is also program director of the C3I Hub, a technology innovation hub for cybersecurity established by the Department of Science and Technology. He is also a joint director of the C3I Center, a cybersecurity research center established by the Science and Engineering Research Board. He was a professor of computer engineering at Virginia Tech during 2002 to 2015 and then served as the head of the Department of Computer Science Department at IIT Kanpur. It is a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Okay, sir. Starting with our first question, what is the blockchain analysis and network forensics in cryptoforensics? Before you provide your insights on this particular question, sir, for our general understanding of our viewers, could you please explain what is cryptoforensics?
Yeah. So you know that cryptocurrency has one of the properties that cryptocurrency is supposed to be anonymous. Although for regular cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., we say that it is pseudonymous because there are ways to track the transactions and eventually, in many cases, to actually track it down to an exchange where the user, the sender or the receiver, has KYC, and by doing that you can actually sometimes track who is spending what kind of cryptocurrency, who is sending to whom, whether they are sending it to an illicit organization, terrorist organization, or is it a ransomware payment. This kind of stuff can be actually done. There are other things that one can do to actually track the IP address of the sender and thereby connecting the person to the IP address. So these are in the purview of cryptoforensics, that is to attribute a particular transaction's sender or receiver, and thereby, if it is a illicit transaction, it's not a legal transaction. Well, no transaction is legal in crypto anyway in India, but at least it's not, for a particular crime. If it is for that, then there are ways to, somehow, many times, not necessarily always, to catch the person behind that kind of a transaction.
Sure. Sir, what is blockchain analysis and network forensics in this particular cryptoforensics? Two components.
Well, so remember that except for some of the what we call AECs, or anonymity enhancing crypto, like Monero, in most cryptocurrency are on public blockchain, permissionless public blockchain. So what happens there is that every transaction becomes part of a block, and then the blocks are actually in the blockchain. And anybody who connects to this blockchain, become a node on this blockchain, can also download the entire blockchain, and thereby can have access to all the transaction records. Now, in cryptocurrency, normally you don't have a KYC. If you are not using an exchange, you don't have a KYC, at least for now. In European Union, they recently passed a law that requires the KYC for even for individuals non-custodian wallets. But in absence of that, what happens is that you are going to have a problem that you cannot recognize who it is easily.
Uh,
So, but on the other hand, you have the internal. data regarding the transactions from the very beginning, from the Genesis blocks. So now the question is, you can also get this data from various other services such as blockchain.info, or in case of Ethereum, Etherscan, etc. So when you get this data, this is a huge amount of data, like hundreds, 100 GB or more data. That you can actually see whether you can analyze the data. So the analysis of the data can be done with basically various tools, including machine learning AI-based tools. For example, if you want to see patterns, like patterns of behavior, like is there a gambling activity going on? People are transacting with a particular address and then getting back money. Some of them are getting less money than the others. Is there a money laundering activity going on? Are there actually a cycle of that indicates money laundering? Is there any particular transaction that is creating a smart contract? That smart contract is malicious smart contract. This kind of analysis we can do from this data that we collect. Now, this data actually, usually the work that we have done in the past were not exactly for forensics. It was out of data analytics interest. So I want to know how much of this kind of activities goes on, how many addresses or wallets are involved in illicit activities, whether I can have a machine learning model to which we can feed the data about a particular wallet and its transaction history. And can I tell whether this wallet is engaging in some kind of illicit activity? So these are the kind of things that I would like to know, and therefore we have done quite a bit of work in this area. So I would say that that is blockchain analysis. Also, it's not necessarily have to be a forensic, goal. The forensic goal is more individual focused. Like if when a ransomware attack happens, and the law enforcement is called in, now the money that has been paid is in cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency has this currency has gone into an address. Now, when this address is looked at, you can see, because it's blockchain, it's a public permissionless blockchain. You can see where that address on the data, and you can see the transactions being made into that address as well as transaction out of that address.
Yes.
So when you see the transactions out of that address, if you follow it, and if the transaction eventually ends up in an exchange, because to actually encash the cryptocurrency, one has to go to an exchange or some sort of a exchange like entity who will actually give them the real dollars or real rupees, whatever. And therefore we can then go and go to the exchange, and exchanges are businesses. They are not unknown entities, and therefore the exchanges may be asked to actually produce their KYC data, provided the exchange is KYC compliant. Some exchanges are not necessarily KYC compliant. There are some things called decentralized exchanges. These decentralized exchanges are not all very compliant to KYC. They
Yes.
work across they work across multiple countries, multiple legal jurisdictions. But if you're lucky and the person involved is actually not that, uh, I would say, that malicious a criminal, he might actually encash it in a KYC compliant exchange, and then they might get identified. But nowadays, what's happening is that this there are something called Tumblr or mixer services. So these mixer services, they actually take a lot of different addresses transaction. So let's say there are 10 addresses, all of which has received some illicit money. So what they want to do is that they want to send it to a mixer address. The mixer, what it will do is that mixer address basically is goes into a program. This program will actually now mix that, make an aggregate of this or the money, or crypto, and then they will divide them into small pieces and send it to multiple directions. So as a result, tracking the transaction trail all the way to an exchange becomes extremely difficult. But there are also heuristics that can be used to do this. So all these things are basically part of the what we say blockchain analysis or blockchain for forensics. But also now in a non-crypto context, if you look at the blockchain data, you can do various kinds of data analytics, right? So you want to know, for example, if it's a property registration blockchain, you want to know certain analytics on that data. So you can also do that with blockchain analysis. So blockchain analysis is not a necessary thing for. I mean, it's not necessarily a forensic job. It may be actually just data analytics activities. So that's what I would say blockchain analysis.
Sure, sir. More to that, there are several jurisdictions that come up with strict compliance of AML and KYC. Naming some of them would be Singapore. Recently, UK also proposed travel rule that is famously known as an FATF 40 regulations, where they say that you have to do KYC of sender and the receiver of a crypto from one wallet to another. So that is pretty much important in case of centralized which exchanges which are primarily doing it, but also for decentralized exchanges which are required to do this in order to get that particular adjudication of transaction from one wallet to another. Very insightful thoughts on this, sir. Moving on to our second question. Uh, as we all know that you are associated with the HOP project, and we are seeing rapidly steep rise in blockchain projects in India, which also raises some pretty questions about how safe are their finances and how protected they are with their money that they currently hold. So Hop gave us the hope that we can develop indigenous tools for analyzing crypto frauds and transactions to save investors money and adjudicate these crimes. Could you throw us more light on what the Hop project is and how it is different from pre-existing crypto investigation tools?
Let me first tell you that we started. So as I was telling you that our initial interest was mostly on finding analytics to get the collective behavior of crypto people in the crypto ecosystem,
Yes.
what they do in terms of illicit activities.
Yes.
We also wanted to know what kind of smart contracts people float on the say Ethereum, and then whether they intentionally put malicious smart contracts. What is the relationship between the illicit activities and the buggy smart contracts? This kind of stuff. At some point, when we gave talks at various forums, we were told by law enforcement officers that, well, this is interesting to know, but this is not going to help us in any way. This is you are talking about collective patterns in the blockchain and all that stuff, but you are not helping us to detect who is involved in all this. It's good to know that certain addresses are involved in gambling, but how could I catch them if I cannot attribute it to a real world person or real world entity?
Yes.
So we started looking at this, and then we started saying that, okay, let's develop a tool, because all the data for various cryptocurrency systems like Bitcoin, Ethereum, which is the only two we actually have currently put into our system, we can get all the data that there is, and then we have certain plans to actually collect more data by putting certain traps into the blockchain, etc. But that is not done yet. But in this case, what happens is that since we have all the data, we have created some visualization capabilities, we have created some tracking capabilities, and we have created some way of searching for particular address paths from a particular exchange, a particular address to certain exchanges, or all the exchanges that there are. So in this, we are right now at a very preliminary stage. We'll have by end of September, we are hoping to have at least the Bitcoin and Ethereum fully explorable in our tool. So in that sense, if you look at the market tools that are used by law enforcement worldwide, like chain analysis or cipher trace, etc., they are much more advanced. They have, I would say, hundreds of people working on this, and they have huge investments, even from FBI, Department of Homeland Security in the US. They got funding for all this. We are working on this as an project that was in the national blockchain project, and we have, of course, in India, the finding finding the manpower, especially in a university environment where the payments are also not that high, is difficult. So we have about 4 or 5 people working on this right now. So obviously we are not competing with the tools that are in the market. The goal is that those tools are very expensive and may not be possible to buy. Maybe certain governments can buy them, but not all governments can buy them. So therefore, it is better that we have a system like this. So that was the goal. Now the name hop is actually is was not given by us. In fact, 2 weeks ago I gave a talk at the police conference in Lucknow at the police headquarters on the cryptoforensics, and in that after the thing, I actually was traveling to some place, and then the next morning I saw a lot of news articles, and each of them said that it is hop. And I said, okay, I never said hop. I might have said the word hop in the sense that, the transactions, one hop transaction, two hop transaction, three hop transaction, but I don't know how the name came about. But all the news reports mentioned that as hop. So we said, okay, hop it is. But that aside, I think that the news articles were all coming from a single source because they were all almost the same,
Yes.
and I think that they actually uh, hype that a little bit. We are actually just having exploration capabilities, some search capabilities, some ability to track capabilities. Eventually, the goal is to tie a particular address to a particular KYC compliant exchange at this moment, right?
Okay.
So it's not like we are competing with some the very large scale tools like chain analysis or anything.
Yes, sir. So is it the hop is short form for some? Is it acronym for something?
No, because because it came unbeknownst to us, the name was
Okay.
given. So we could not find a particular concept that can be acronymed into hop. But since the word hop kind of was propagated, we said maybe we should call it hop. We don't know about yet, but the one thing I want to say is that in hop we have a lot of our machine learning based models for detecting illicit transactions of various kinds, classifying various transactions as illicit or not, or the addresses as involved in illicit activities or not. That is a little bit new. I am not sure if the other tools do that. This proactive identification of
Okay.
particular addresses. Usually in those tools, you give an address and then or set of addresses by the law enforcement, and then the tool finds certain things about them. But we
Yes.
also do some proactive identification, which have obviously a probability of error. We might classify a particular address as malicious, which may not be, but the probability we try to minimize. So our algorithms are designed to minimize that probability.
Sure, sir. So, such a great incident you told us. Many of you us didn't know that it was not hop initially, and that led to a
Hmm.
great project. Uh, Moving on to our second question, sir. Third one. We are seeing that Visa and Mastercard are facilitating VDA transactions directly from their cards. And we are also seeing, on the other hand, that credit card frauds are on its peak. So, could you shed some light how privacy and security of buyer using these services will be protected?
So you are talking about card tokenization?
No, sir, not initially, but you may shed some light on that too. I'm talking about how the direct transaction of VDAs using Visa
Hmm.
and Mastercards on the
Hmm.
particular platform, let's just say OpenSea or
Hmm.
any other NFT marketplaces, would
Oh,
that?
I see, I see, I see. You're talking about data privacy, and I think that we don't know. Like OpenSea has been pulled up by the U.S. Security Exchange Commission for doing various types of selling securities which are unregistered and all that stuff, right? So
Yes.
there are a lot of pumping and dumping scheme going on in OpenSeas. There are a lot of fraud NFTs and that. So it's basically you are taking a risk in putting in your credit card information to a platform. OpenSea is not a decentralized system, right? It's just a portal through which you who actually use a blockchain in the backend. But so if you are giving credit card information there, and the credit card information is stored without adequate precaution for data privacy, etc., then there would be problem. And uh, in my view, most of these businesses, be it a DeFi business like Lunaterra, or be it a NFT business, most of them are not doing it for an honest business, long-term sustainable business. They're doing it for a way to get rich quick. So therefore, their intentions, their ability to handle private data, their ability to secure their system, all these things are in question, and that's why you will see so many hacks that are going on, because everybody is trying to get rich quick by coming up with a protocol or facilitating certain protocols, and then they're luring the customers by unsustainable rates of interest, unsustainable promises of increase of asset prices like NFT. You have seen that things that were initially sold for $10 million are now selling for $1,000. First tweet of the Twitter founder was there
Yes.
was no taker, but the initial buyer paid a lot of money. So I don't trust these entities. I don't trust any of the DeFi entities at this point. So I would not put any credit card information or connect my bank to any of this. Of course, I personally feel that the whole crypto business is a Ponzi scheme. So
Hmm.
therefore, I don't buy, sell crypto, or I don't do any business, but I observe it from a scientific perspective. But it's an interesting phenomena. It's actually a pretty revolutionary phenomena. Blockchain technology is very powerful technology, irrespective of crypto. And I think that in summary, I would say that I wouldn't put my credit card into buying any BSTs, especially in such places or exchanges. I don't trust any of the exchanges either. But that's me. There are a lot of people who are also lured by the fact that crypto is being touted as something that can make you rich fast. Like even celebrities, celebrities come with advertisements. I think this there should be regulations. Already, government of India's I think advertisement authorities,
Yes,
they
sir.
have already put up some rules. But
Yes,
I
sir.
see every day when I log into Facebook, LinkedIn, not LinkedIn so much, but Twitter, etc. I see a
Huh.
lot of misleading ads still there,
Exactly,
and
sir.
I don't trust them.
Yes, also, sir, we are lacking behind our data protection bill, which is still in
Hmm.
parliament, and we are not safe with our data. Though we are following GDPR if we transact from Europe, and
Yeah.
they have some other regulations if we transact data from America. But India and Indian peoples are not safe until bill becomes an act. Also, as you were talking about advertisement, SEBI has some guidelines of banning, celebrities for endorsing crypto ads. That is one aspect to look upon. So pretty much things are going on with regards to the transactions, but on the core, if we see, it's all related to somehow to here and there to the crypto forensics, and we are completing circle there. Uh, Thank you, sir, Sandeep sir, for joining us today. And here we conclude. Thank you for giving you valuable time. It was an insightful session, and I hope our viewers will get some knowledge bites of this particular session, and also get to know what is the incident behind the name hop of that particular tool that IIT Kanpur just generated under your mentorship. Uh, Thank you, sir. And for the viewers, if you have any questions or doubts, you can always leave your comment below, and we will be happy to answer them. Sir will be happy to answer them. Look forward to it. For more of such videos and insightful discussion,